Hello there. Welcome you all to my new tutorial. I think a lot of you are searching for how you can implement MongoDB cluster with n numbers. Okay, suppose you have 3 number of node, 4 number of node, and now you want to have high available, no data loss, or what to say, you can serve your data only if you have one node. Suppose you have 3 nodes, 2 of them already been died, so it will be an excellent idea to serve your service with existing single node. Okay, so that means I am talking about high availability and disaster recovery. Okay, so it's a beautiful idea that how you can process your data whatever situation has arrived, right? So I would like to clarify you what I want to show you in this video. I would like to amplify all the beginners problems, all the beginner who faced some static barrier. I will try out to focus on them, and I will like to show you how can you overcome this. Okay, so you must be confused while searching on the internet or YouTube how actually the things happen. A lot of people showing different approaches, so you want some more discussion, right? You want some clarification that how you would like to implement and why. Most of the time your question is why. Okay, so you are not getting these things and you are so disappointed, you want to know the thing. Let me show you. I will show you the root architecture, what MongoDB follows, what we will follow, and exactly this is what in other clustering system like Kafka, MySQL, or Redis, they are probably following this architecture. Actually, whoever want to make his data high available among the all nodes, he or she will follow this structure by any way. Okay, so let's see. As you can see here, I am showing you that I have a mongoose router and primary and 2 secondary. So seeing this picture you will not understand what I want to mean. Okay, so let me find something that I can draw. Okay, this video will be a little bit longer. Okay, so this one. So suppose you have 2 nodes. Okay, actually it will be exactly same when you have 3 nodes. So don't worry for consuming for time consuming issues. I will show you a demo with my 2 nodes. Suppose this is my node 1, okay, and this is my node 2. So what we will do, we will create a shard here. Okay, that means if our data is from, suppose 1 to 5. Suppose let me just take an example, and then we'll divide it 1 to actually it is, let me make it 10, 1 to 5, and another one is 5 to 10, 6 to 10. Okay, so this is 1 to 5, and so this is 1 to 5. That means I will hold 1 to 5 data here. Okay, and another node I will use to store 1 to 6 to 10. So this is simple sharding or partitioning, as you can see. So why do we do sharding? Because of dividing your loads among the nodes. Okay, so if you have 2 nodes, why you should only serve with the single node? You will have some request from this node and some from this node. Okay, let me check this out, that my video is going or not. Okay, it's working. So as you can see, some request when I will search for 1 to 5 data, it will come here, and when I will search for 6 to 10, it will come here. But what happened? This node goes down. My 1 to 5 data will be gone. Okay, so that's why I have to, suppose this is shard 1, shard 2. So I will create this shard 1 replication in this node. Okay, shard 1, but it's a replication 1 to 5. Got it? So in the same way, I will create another shard here. This means shard 2, but it's now a replication. It's 6 to 10. Clear? So that's it. So if your data, if your one node loss, still you will have your all data 1 to 5 and 6 to 10. And what happened in this case, this S1 is like primary, and this shard 2, this is like primary in this node. Okay, in this node, this will be primary for regarding replication, and this will be secondary or replication, replicate, and this on the replicate, and this is the primary, and this is the replication. So this is the primary and this is the secondary. Okay, whatever you call. And this is the shard 1, and this is the shard 2 primary, this is the shard 1 primary. But if I lose this node, still I have all the data. Okay, so this is called sharding and replication together. Now another thing, we MongoDB introduce like config server. Okay, so we will create a config server here also, here also. Okay, what does these things do? This config server simply stores all the configuration, how many nodes I have, what is the indexing number of this sharding, all these things. You will find all these things in the internet. So this is my config server primary, and this is my config server secondary. Okay, so what happen if this node down, this will be a primary. Okay, so this is also one kind of cluster among the. Okay, now simply again we will create another instance. MongoDB introduced Mongoose router here also, here also. Okay, it is router 1, it is router 2, it is primary initially, it is secondary. Actually in this case there is no primary secondary in Mongoose router. Actually any of the router can serve any request. Okay, because this router only check this config server, and this config server diverse our request to the nodes. Got it? So while we will putting on the MongoDB connection string, we will put this mongoose URL and this also. Okay, we have to put two router configuration in the in our application. We will use these two router at a time in our application. So it will depend on to Mongoose. It will have the request first of all there, and it will check in the config server where the data exists, and it will transfer this request on this node. Okay, so I think you got the clustering idea. So we have some primary server and some secondary on the other node. We have some primary and we have secondary on the other node, and we have some configuration server replication, and we have two routers, MongoDB routers. Okay, so let's see on the internet, and I would like to tell you that a lot of tutorials you will see only they will explain all these things, but they will show only one node and replication, single sharding, and this replication. I will show you the whole thing, okay, from the very beginning. In the meantime, what we can do, we can start our instances. So I will use this time background. Okay, actually this is in my MySQL cluster folder, don't worry. Okay, but I will use MongoDB clustering here. Okay, so I will start. I will provide all this configuration file in the description on my YouTube video. So this is my node 1 and this is my node 2, node 3. So I will need this cd node 1. Okay, so I will simply start with background up, sorry, and I will simply use here background, sorry, background up. Actually it is not showing, but I already write here. So it's started to provisioning. Okay, no problem. In the meantime, let's see on the internet what we will see. So actually they are saying exactly the things what I mentioned, but you have to understand. Okay, so here also you can see shard 1, shard B, shard C. This is the replication. Okay, in this picture you will also see the config server, the router. Okay, and these one are the perfect example. I think you have config server replication, you have two shard, and you have shard 1 replica set, shard 2 replica set. But the most thing that all the replica set in the first node, and all you will be misguided. Okay, so you have to see that your replica will be other on other node. Okay, so that's why it will be available. So let's check. Let me check. It's already 14 minutes. It will be a little bit longer. Okay, let me show you. So for that, you have to understand how config server, how replication server, how shard server actually defined by MongoDB. Okay, let me go into it. I'll show you okay, everything. There is my MongoDB cluster. MongoDB cluster. these are the zip. Okay. So I will just clone this repo on my background instance. Okay. So I will go into my background instance. Background. Okay. I am now on my background machine. So I will clone here. Okay. Now as you can see, I have my MongoDB clustering. Okay. Git clone. So it will be exactly same as with 3 node. Okay. So okay. So as you can see, here is my MongoDB clustering setting zip. So let me unzip this. Okay. Unzip. So I have to install this unzip command here in both of my machines. So you have to have patience actually, because it is not a 4 or 5 minutes video. Okay, you have to wait. We have to wait. Or I have another GitHub repository, but I think no problem, we can wait. So it's taking a little bit time. Okay, I think it's been done. So now let's unzip it. Okay, now as you can see, we have our all setting here. Okay, node on config, node to config. Actually what the thing, actually I did this thing for time consuming in my node 2 for less time consuming. Okay, so we will unzip cd Okay, as you can see, in both of our instance we have all node config. I made this node config and pushed in my GitHub. Let me show you what we will do and what I have done in this node 1 config and node 2 config. Okay, I will not use node 3 config as I have only 2 nodes, so I am going to okay. So as you can see, I have one node 1 sharding primary and node 2 sharding secondary, and we will not need this node 3 sharding as we have only 2 nodes. And in exactly same, if I go in the node 2 okay, sorry. Okay, as you can see, we have exactly same configuration, 5 configuration file. And we have some 5 configuration file. So what we will do, if you count here, we will have 5 configuration, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Actually in every node we will need 1 2 3 4 configuration file. So we have 5 configuration because for node 3 we will not know this, so we will use this 4 and we will use this 4. Okay, this 4 except this 3 node 3 configuration. So what exactly I have in my config server, let me show you. As you can see, to create a config server, I change the port and I change this bind IP to connect from another node. Okay, that is simple, and MongoDB has made these things very interesting. You will have to just create this sharding cluster role config server. Okay, and as you can see, you will have you will see this security concern. Okay, I will be using 4.4 as it is less create less security issue, create less security issue. So I will use key file or it has different technology in MongoDB version 6. So I will create a key file in etc MongoDB keys MongoDB using MongoKey using RSA technology, and I will share this secret key in both node. You will see. Okay, and as it is, I will create a config MongoDB folder in the var log path, and I will create MongoDB log file. I will create a var lib config MongoDB. Okay, so to run this configuration, I need to create this path first. Okay, otherwise I can use this. Clear? Okay, so this was the configuration file, and now let me show you the router. Okay, so as you can see, when you are using router, you have to hide this storage configuration, and it's simple. When you are creating a router, I think you will not need this replication. Okay, so I will hide this replication. I will only using sharding and config.db. Our router will be feed using this configuration. As you can see, I have 3 node and their IPs. So here I will have 2 IP. Okay, this is. So this was my router configuration, and let me show you one of my shard. Okay, so this is on my shard 1. So here, as you can see, my replication set name is shard 1 and my cluster role is shard server. So to make a shard, you have to put their shard server, and you have to uh, name this shard1 as, let me show you, suppose this one my shard1 and this one my shard1. So this 1 to 5 is my shard1. So here also I will put shard1. In my this configuration node 2 I will put shard1. Let me show you. If I go to my node 2, actually I'm in node 2. If I go node 1, actually in this primary I will put shard1 config server, shard server, and here also in node 1 sharding secondary I will have shard server shard1. This shard server name should be exactly same from this one to this one. Node 1 sharding primary, node 1 sharding secondary. Okay, you have to I write this name to make you understand that node 1 sharding secondary, node 1 sharding primary, and node 1 and node 2 sharding primary and node 2 sharding secondary. Okay, so what we can do, we can delete remove this node 3. Okay, this one. Okay, so as you can see, I have node 1 sharding secondary in my second node, and I have node 1 sharding primary, and here I have node 2 sharding secondary in my node 1, and in my node 2 I have node 1 sharding primary. This is the configuration. Okay, so I think you got it, and you will be more clear when you will see how I am running this actually. Okay, so let us make the config server first. So for this I have to install MongoDB on both node. Okay, to do this I have my own node. I will provide this on the video description. So I am adding the key. Okay, in both node, and I will show you how you can debug, okay, properly. Then I am putting, sorry, in node 2, in node 1 is the process just installing MongoDB. Okay, so it will be updated now. Now let's copy the next command to install MongoDB. Okay, we'll install MongoDB. And as you can see now, if I restart, Okay, it will be done very quickly, I think, or I can pause the video. So I think I will not need to pause the video anymore. It will depend upon on your internet connection. Okay. Okay, so in my node 2 I have my MongoDB.service. Okay, now my MongoDB is been installed. Okay, okay, as you can see, my MongoDB is running. Okay, so my MongoDB is running. Okay, in my second node, my second MongoDB is also running. Sorry, in my first node, let me check. Okay, my MongoDB service is not running. So to run my MongoDB service, I have to start here also. Okay, now if I check the status, I think this is also running. Okay, so I installed MongoDB in my 2 VM. Now all I have to do, first of all, I can do run this section to hold my MongoDB to exactly 4.4. okay, so this is what, nothing else. So with further update, I am stopping the further update of my MongoDB version using these commands. Okay, no, fine. So now, as I have shown you, we will use security purpose our own SSL. That means, as you can see here, I have this thing you can use. In your case, we'll create a folder in our any of node. I am creating this folder here. Okay, and then I am generating a SSL token here in this folder. Okay, permission denied. So sudo shu. Now if I run, it's run. Okay, now I have to create a user. Okay, I will give this permission to this file. Okay, now I will give permission to MongoDB user and MongoDB group to this file. Okay, so fine. So now if I go to my MongoDB folder in the etc, okay, sorry, so I have a MongoDB mongo-key file. Now if I try to copy, I have to be a sudo user. As you can see, here is my certification file. Now I will go to my node 2 and I will simply create a file, a folder exactly same. Okay, in the second node. Okay, now without generating again SSL key, we will go to this folder. Now we have keys. Our key K is not showing here. I don't know for what problem. Now as you can see, we have no file here. So I will create a file called mongo-key. Okay, it's not a folder, it's a key, it's a file. Okay, so I have to be a sudo user. Now if I edit this file, it is empty. Now if I copy this file properly, okay, in node 2, fine. Awesome. So I have the same SSL key in both of my nodes. So now let's see what happened. If I run Mongo, as you can see, I am in my MongoDB. Okay, and if I run here also, sorry, Mongo, I am also in my MongoDB. Okay, but as you can see, as I have shown you that here I have okay, it is node 1, as it is node 1. Okay, so as you can see, I have 4 configuration file, but we have already one of our server is running there, so we can make this server as config server, mongo server, or shard one. Okay, so no problem. So I would like to make this one as a shard one, so I will simply just make this running server as shard one. So for making this, what we have to do, let me open this on my here. Okay, let me open this on my MongoDB cluster. Okay, so it will be very easy to show here. For creating shard1 primary, we will need this folder. Okay, or as it has, let me show you, don't be confused. Okay, and this is actually in our etc folder. If we go to MongoDB, and the default okay, it will be there. Okay, as you can see, our default server, what all actually installed when I install MongoDB automatically. So it has this file configuration, so I don't need to edit these things. All I need to do, change the port and bind IP. So what is my port here? 27020. Okay, you have to keep in your mind, you have to remember, so that's why 20 0 it is 0. Okay, so in your security context, you have to put this there, and okay, this is the exactly key path where I created this key, and it is our shard1. So we have to put our replication name shard1, and our cluster role is shard server. It should be like shard server. You can't make it capitalized or something else, but you can put any name here, your replica set name, and if you try to create a replication server, then all the shard1 name replica set will be connected together. Okay, so this is your own hand, but this is not in your hand. So let me unhide this, and let me put this here. Fine. So this is my shard1 configuration. If I override these things, oh my god. So I think I was not a sudo user here. Okay, so I have to Be more careful. One moment. Sorry. And for security, actually it is a little bit tedious when you are editing your configuration file. Like if you have 3 nodes, you have to edit this, you have to make configuration file like 20 times. Okay, so this is like tedious. So I have my all configuration already created, so we have to create just for twice for this. We have to edit this one also, and exactly for the second node. Okay, now our shard name our cluster role will be shard server. Okay, so this one. So fine, we are ready to restart our first shard. So if we follow our previous command, this was okay, this one. Now if we stop our service and if we start, and again if we check our status, it's running fine. Now if we want to connect this one, we have to use dash port 2701, sorry, 20. Okay, we are now connected. Okay, so these are shard server 1. In the same way, we can create our shard server 2 primary. Okay, so we will be there for node 2 primary. Okay, so we'll follow this one. Cd etc. Okay, sudo mongodb.config. So what we will do, we will put here 20 and 0 0. Okay, our security will be okay. Okay, now our replication name will be shard server 2 primary actually. And our sharding name will be this one. Fine, fine. So this one done. Now if we restart, okay, first let me stop my MongoDB service. Stop. Now let's start. Now let's check the status. Okay, it's failed. Now why it failed? It's a problem. Okay, so you have to debug it, why it failed. So for this, what you can do, as you have seen in your configuration, your log file is var log mongodb log. Okay, so let's go on there. City var, here you will see log folder, here you will see MongoDB, here you will see all we can do, we can see the log file. Okay, permission denied. We can't see this using just general user, but if you are a root user, we can check this out. So as you can see, our error is invalid path. etc MongoDB keys mongo key are too open. Okay, it is too open. So what it's mean, it's too open. So what we have to do, I forgot to run this command to give permission to my second node. Okay, now so that's why okay, now if I run, if we start, now if I check, it's running. Okay, so fine, our two shard primary, actually this one and this one, 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 to 10 is been up. Now we will have this shard one replication 1 to 5 in node 2. Okay, as I am already in node 2, I will go in my root folder and if I follow the, if I first of all, as I am in node 2 configuration already, so I will create node 1 sharding secondary here. So to do that, I have to create this directory here and then this data directory inside. So sudo make dir, okay, now fine, I have created this data directory. Sorry, now I have to also create this directory and this mongo.log file. Sudo make dir this directory and now this time I have this mongo.log is a file, so tou status mongo.log. So let me check this out, mongo.log. Okay, so if I create this one, now I think everything fine. Now it is on, it will be run on 21. So let me go to MongoDB clustering, city MongoDB setting, sorry, okay, city node 2, okay. So to run MongoDB daemon as daemon, we have to use mongo -config, okay, config, and the file name node1 config server, and we'll use fork here to get out of this terminal after running this. Okay, so I think here would be config. So if I, okay, as you can see, I have an error forked process. So if I see the, if I check the error in my error log file here, okay, so sudo, I will go there. What happened? So let us run without a fork. We can see fail to open this directory. So it is saying that we don't have any directory like that. Okay, so we will okay, so I think if we run this MongoDB as sudo, okay, as you can see, it's running finally. As we created this file using sudo command, it's not able to run properly. So now my this shard started properly 27021. I can check mongo -port 27021. okay, now it's fine. Now in the same way, I will be in the node 1, and I will create this 6 to 10 replication of chart 2. okay, so I will go on the MongoDB clustering, cd MongoDB setting, okay, cd node 1, okay, fine. Now we will create this node 2 sharding secondary. Okay, so let's create the folders for logging and data storage. Node 2 sharding secondary, this one. Okay, I think this one. Okay, so I'll create the folder. Sudo make directory. Okay, and another directory data. Okay, as there are two unknown directory, we will unable to create at a time. You can use another command, but I am creating with two at a time. Okay, let me check my video is okay. Fine, it's already 1 hour. Oh my god. So now create this. Okay. Now I have to create toucs slash mongo.log file. Fine. Now everything fine. We can create this node to sharding secondary here. Fine. So all we have to do, run using sudo mongo.config node 2 sharding secondary conf -fork. Okay, we have created this 4 instance successfully. Okay, we'll not do anything still yet. We'll create this configuration server first, then we'll start creating this replication. Okay, so as I am in node 1, I will I will create the folder for logging and database storage for configuration server. It is very simple. Sudo make dir. Okay, now this time create sudo make dir now does sudo this one MongoDB mongo.log. Fine. Now we have created this config server log storage and log file. Now if we want to start this config server, okay, I have shown you already the config server description details. You can check all these things. You can ask me any question in the comment section. Mongo config server. Okay, fork. Fine, awesome. Our config server first replica has been started successfully. Now we will be there in node 2. We have to create this node 2 config server. Okay, so I will be there. Sudo make directory. This one, all you have to just create this directory and run this instance as MongoDB server. Okay, as I have written everything You have to just clone this. Okay. Okay. Use does. Okay. Mongo log. Fine. Now we have to run mongo dash config server dash fork. Okay, so I have now 6 MongoDB instance in both of my node 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now we'll create 3 replication cluster, one with config server, this 2 config server, and another with this shard1 and this shard1 replication. Another one is shard2 primary, shard2 secondary. So we will create 3 replication server with this 6 instance. Okay, let's see what I am doing. So to do that, what we have to do, as you can see, I have to go to any of my config server and I have to use my admin database and I can initiate my config server replication. So as I will use node 1, config server. Let me check in which port it is running. It is running on 27019. In my Mongo dash port 27019. Okay, in my first node config server 1, I will use admin. Okay, I mean now admin. Now as you can see, I have to run this rs.initiate. So as I have only, okay, and I have my IP. I know my IPs up to node 192.168.56.4, and another one is 56.5. So as you can see, I am putting 27019 because in both of my config server I have my port on 27019. Okay, so let's, and as you can see, ID is CFC and config server true. Okay, we have to make this thing, and let's run this. Bismillah. Awesome. As you can see, I have my config server cluster with 2 nodes. Okay, 2 instances. So it's now secondary. If I run, it's now primary. Fine. So I have my config server cluster, as you can see, like this config server cluster. Okay, or in my case, this config server cluster. Now we will create this shard1 replication cluster, shard1 primary and shard1 secondary. So to do that, we have to go to any shard primary. Okay, so as I am in my node 1, let's create the shard1 cluster first of all. So let me check shard1 primary configuration, which port I am running, 27020. Okay, So I think in my case, as my Shutdown primary was the default, so it will be 27017. It is default port, right? So all I have to do, Mongo, because it default port is 270. Okay, I think I have changed this port, Mongo. Just port 27020. Okay, now I will be an admin user. I will use the admin database. Okay, so to create a cluster with Shutdown, as you can see, my ID is Shutdown. We have to. I have only two user, one in node 1, one in node 2. Okay, so 192.168.56.4, and another is 192.168.56.5. Fine. Okay, but the port is let me check the ports. Shutdown primary 20, so this port will be 20 in my case. And now let me check this hard in node 2, node 1 sharding secondary port, node 1 sharding secondary port. It is also 21. Okay, it is 21. Fine. Now we will create this second hard cluster. Bismillah. Awesome. Now you can see after few seconds it should be the primary. Okay, now it's the primary. So we have successfully created actually this one, and now hard one replication together this one. Now we'll create this using this secondary in this node and another replication. So I will exit. I will be in my second node. Let me check my video is okay. Fine. Now, as you know, I am checking this node 2 configuration. So node 2 primary port is 20, and node 2 secondary port is 21. Okay, this as it is. So I will be on Mongo just port 27020. Okay, use admin. Now here, as you can see, we'll use this hard2 ID here, and for this members we'll be using this configuration 20, I think 21. This would be the okay, but it is the 5 and it is 4. Okay, so I am using node 2, it is 20. You have to think properly, brother. You have to pause the video and you have to understand. So I have my secondary, so I have my three cluster, actually 3 replication server, okay, with the config server and with 2 sharding server, and I have router. Okay, so now we will start the router, and to start the router we will need this config server cluster. Okay, so to do that we will be in one of our router. Okay, actually in this case I am in node 1, so actually I am okay. So to start the router I have to create this folder in node 1. Fine. So in this last part you must have to keep patience. Okay, thus mongo.log. Fine. Now we have to, as you can see in our router configuration, we have CFC, this 3 node. We have to change this, we have to remove this 3rd node actually. So to do that we will I don't know what is the name, mongoose. Okay, so our router name is mongoose in MongoDB, so sudo by mongoose. So our router will be exposed with 270.18 port. Okay, and it has also the same security file, and it has I hide this storage because it will not store it is just transfer the thread. So now as I have only 2 node, you can use multiple node here also as much as you want. Okay, now this is my configuration file. I think fine, everything fine. Okay, now we can start our router. Okay, so to start a router, let me check this out. So to start our router we have to run mongoose. Okay, not mongoose this time. Okay, sudo mongoose -config mongoose -fork. Awesome, our router started properly. In the same way we will create the second router here. Okay, I have to go to my node 2 router config. This time this name is router, so I have to create this router directory. Sudo make dir. Okay, and now I have to create this file as previous. Fine. Okay, now I think we have to edit this also this time. Okay, I think I don't need this replication name anymore. Awesome. Fine. Now, okay, so we will use Mongoose here. Mongoose dash config. Okay, router. This configuration dash fuck. Okay, as you can see, we have now both of our router has been up and running. So you can see here this router also up and running. So all the things is up and running, but as you can see, we have no connection. We have connection between this and this as we put the router configuration config server configuration with the router. But what about these two shared replication server, this one and this one? Okay, so we have to connect with we have two config server. We will only use primary to write here. Actually, we can do any administrative performance function in our primary. It is true also for this replication shard one. Okay, we can do any functionality to this shard one, and it will be automatically synchronously done. Will be done with the shard two. Okay, so we'll now add this shard one to the config server. So to do that, for that we have to go to any of our MongoDB router. Okay, as you can see, I am in. Okay, I can use any of our router, but I am using this Mongoose router in my node 1. Now I will be a admin user. Okay, now I will create a administrative user. Okay, now I have the administrative user. Now I will be authenticated with this credential. Okay, now as you can see, we can add our shard one with just one or primer so this is our one of our primary. Okay, so this means I have to add this one, or when using this secondary second shard, I can use this one. Okay, so here I am using this IP, but I don't know what is the port of my shard1 primary, so I can check. It most probably 22 or something like that. 20. Okay, so it is 20. Now if we add this shard to our router, okay, it's all successfully added. Now in the same way we will add our node to primary, node to sharding primary. It is also on port 20, so this time my IP will be 5. So finally our job is okay. Sorry, there here should be shard2. Okay, this name should be exactly the same name we used while creating these shards. Awesome. So finally we created the fully functional MongoDB cluster. Let me check. It is 1.5 hours and we have successfully created this. So how we can check? Actually we can check this in many ways, and for any case, if you have firewall, you can allow these firewall ports using these commands, or I can show you a lot of MongoDB connection string URL formats, documentations. This will help you. As you can see, when you are using MongoDB, Mongo's router, you can use this username port and host username port and host of this Mongo's router. As we have two router here, as you have seen, two router, 1 and 1, and both are on 27018 port, but in two different nodes. So we can use this two router endpoint using like this. Okay, username, password, IP, and in the same way the rest IPs. Okay, you will find, I think, an example. Okay, IP port. Okay, so these are the examples. Okay, so or you can follow others tutorials also, but you have to understand properly what exactly we are doing. This all configuration is storing on the config subnet. It's highly scalable. In it's on 2 node, and replication are doing in multiple node, and we have low data loss chance. Okay, so I think it is enough for today. If you have any question, if you don't understand anything, if you have any problem, please write in the comment. I will try to help you. Thank you.